Welcome to the series where I take a look at all of the Premier League teams with FPL glasses on. This is part 1 out of 4 where I take a look at Arsenal, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, Brentford and Brighton. Let's have a look. One of the best teams in the league and one of the most interesting teams when it comes to FPL as well. In the 24-25 season they came second and they have some good fixtures in the opening as well. As you can see, they play against Man United, then they have a really good game at home against Leeds, tough game in game week 3 against Liverpool, before they have Nottingham Forest and Man City at home. On set pieces, Saka taking most of their penalties while Ødegaard take a couple last season as well. They just signed Gyökeres, so it might be a change in the pecking order when it comes to penalties, but it will be really interesting to see. I will of course give updates, so subscribe to the channel for more updates closer to game week 1. Free kicks, Ødegaard, Rice, Martinelli. Corners, Saka, Rice taking them from each side. The most selected asset at the moment is Gabriel, the centre back, 6 million, the most expensive defender in the game, along with a couple of other 6.0 million defenders. Selected by 27% of the managers. We know Gabriel, he is a solid pick, a threat at set pieces as well. Raya is the second most selected player, 5.5, 18% selected. Saka at 10 million is really close with 17%. In my opinion, Saka is the best pick at the moment. We still haven't got the price of Gyökeres, so 10 million for Saka is decent value, especially if he continues taking penalties. But we have to assess Arsenal during preseason to see how they line up. But an injury-free Saka is always a good FPL option. Gabriel, 6 million, of course, I talked about him. Threat at set pieces, solid option. Will probably pick up some defensive contribution points as well. The same goes for Rice. I'm usually not a fan of Rice, but he can chip in with goals, assists on set pieces, and he will definitely get some defensive contribution points. So at 6.5, I actually think that Rice is a decent option this season. Next out is Aston Villa. They finished 6th last season. Tough game in game week 1 against Newcastle, but after this they have really good fixtures, playing against Brentford, Crystal Palace, Everton and Sunderland. Especially the game against Sunderland could be a really good game for Aston Villa. On set pieces for Aston Villa, we have to assume that Watkins is close to being their first penalty taker at the moment. Both Asensio and Rashford, who took their last penalties, have left the club, while Tielemans, he has also taken some penalties for Aston Villa in the past. So Watkins, Tielemans will probably be Aston Villa's penalty takers. Free kicks, Ding, I'm not really sure how much game time he will get this season, but when he is on the pitch he will probably take the free kicks, while the corners are taken by Tielemans and their captain McGinn. Their most selected asset at the moment is Ezri Konsa, the centre back, priced at 4.5. I think that this is a really good price for Konsa. 23% selected. Morgan Rogers had a really good season last year. This season he comes in at 7, but he's still a popular pick, selected by 21% of the managers. Alex Moreno, 4.0, 12% selected. At the moment he is a player we should avoid. He will not start regularly in my opinion. I think that Madsen, the other left back, will play most of the game. So Alex Moreno, of course, priced at 4.0. He is an enabler, a bench fodder, but I don't really like fodders with that high ownership. So 12%, stay away. He will probably drop in price really quick. The best picks from Villa, I think that Watkins at 9 is really good value, especially if he is on penalties. Only selected by 10% of the managers so far, so he is kind of a differential as well. Ezri Konsa, 4.5 million. I think that this is really good value for Konsa, and he is one of the players that's capable of picking up some defensive contribution points as well. If you're wondering what the defensive contribution points is, watch this video to get an update on the new FPL rules. Last on the list is Rogers, Tielemans. I think that both are decent options. Of course, if you can afford Rogers at 7, he is probably a bit better than Tielemans, but I just had to have Tielemans' name in there as well. 6 million on set pieces, and if he is the penalty taker at Aston Villa, I think that he is a really good option. Before we dive into Bournemouth, my best rank is 157 in the world and I have 7 times finished inside the top 35k. If you're interested, go join my mini league. The auto link is in the description down below as well. I usually have a camera down in the left hand side, so this video with only audio is a bit different from what I usually do, but this is due to me being on vacation at the moment, so I only have my microphone, didn't bring my camera and stuff like that. So this video and this series will be with audio only, while I'll be back with the camera and the usual videos from the 5th of August. But hopefully you enjoyed the video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more FPL content. Let's have a look at Bournemouth as well. Set pieces, penalties, Kluivert is their penalty taker, Evan Nilsson is probably next in line. Kluivert took their penalties in the 24-25 season, so this makes him a really good option in my opinion. Tavernier and Otara taking their free kicks. The same goes for corners. Tavernier is first in line for them as well, while Kluivert and Cook also took some last season. Their most selected asset at the moment is Semenyo, priced at 7 million, selected by 5.5% of the managers. He's actually one of the players that underperformed his XG last season, and he was the player that hit the post most times during the 24-25 season, so he was actually a bit unlucky and he did really well in periods last season as well. So I think that Semenyo at 7 is a decent pick. Not the best fixture for Bournemouth, of course, starting at Anfield against Liverpool, but then they have Wolves, Spurs away, Brighton at home, before they have Newcastle in game week 5. So not the best opening fixtures for Bournemouth. I will not have that many Bournemouth players in my game week 1 team, but they can potentially become really good options soon. Petrovic, the goalkeeper, priced at 4.5, is the second most selected Bournemouth player, selected by 5%. Petrovic, he joined from Chelsea and is rumored to be their starting goalkeeper. Of course, if he becomes their starting goalkeeper, he can become a good option when their fixtures get a bit better. Kluivert at 7 million is also selected by 5% at the managers at the moment. I think that he is a decent pick, a bit of a differential, but let's take a look at the best picks from Bournemouth. So as mentioned, I think Kluivert is decent, especially seeing that he is their penalty taker. 7 million, only selected by 5%. I think that he is a good differential. I'm not a fan of their start, as mentioned, playing at Anfield, but Bournemouth, they can score against anyone. Evan Nilsson is next on this list, 7 as well. Did really well before his injury at the end of last season. He came back, played pretty well in the last couple of games as well. So if Evan Nilsson can get a good preseason this summer, I think that he is a good option. I talked about Semenyo, he is a good FPL option as well. Had a price rise, started last season at 5.5, so I think that 7 is probably a bit too much for Semenyo. If he was 6.5, he would probably be on top of the best Bournemouth picks, but this is how I rate him at the moment. Kluivert is the best pick, Evan Nilsson next in line, while Semenyo is really close on 3rd. The next team is Brentford. They finished 10th last season. A lot of changes in their squad. New manager, Frank is the new boss at Spurs, so they have a new manager. Mbumo has gone to Man United. Visa, he is rumored to leave as well, but this is not yet confirmed. But at the moment, Visa is a Brentford player, and he is also probably their penalty taker. I mentioned Mbumo, he has left. Visa was next in line, so I think that Visa is on penalties for Brentford. Free kicks, Damsgaard, Lewis Potter, corners, Damsgaard and Jensen. Their most selected player at the moment is Kelleher, the goalkeeper, joined from Liverpool. He did really well for Liverpool while Alisson was injured. He's one of the most selected players in FPL at the moment at 33%. Next on the list is Visa, 7.5. I think this is really good value for Visa if he stays at the club. He's selected by 8% of the managers. Kevin Schade, classified as a midfielder, priced at 7 million. Maybe a bit too much in my opinion, but his ownership at 2% is tempting. He can become a good differential at some point this season. When it comes to the best picks from Brentford, Visa, Thiago, I think that if Visa stays, he is probably the best pick from Brentford. But if he leaves, I think that Thiago can become a really good option at 6 million. He was brought in last season, but he didn't play much because of an injury, so he is fit now, so he will probably play a lot for Brentford, especially seeing that Mbeumo has left the club. So if Wissa stays, he's the best pick, but if Wissa leaves, I think that Thiago actually is a really good option. If Wissa stays, I wouldn't really be interested in Thiago that much, because Wissa would probably be there, as mentioned, be their penalty taker. Kelleher, I think he is a decent option, but I can see that in high ownership, if Brentford concede a lot in the opening games, I can see that he drops to 4.4 really soon. Schade, I think he is decent, 7 million as a midfielder, but if he was 6 or 6.5, I actually would have been really tempted by Kevin Schade. But 7 million, I think that this probably is a bit too much for the Brentford winger. So this is part 1 out of 4, where I take a look at all of the Premier League teams, and Brighton, they are the last team in the first part. Did well in the 24-25 season, finished 8th, and they have a decent start to the season as well, playing against Fulham, Everton, tough game in game week 3 against Man City, and then they have Bournemouth and Tottenham at home. The fixture against Spurs could potentially have been labelled as a green fixture, but I think that Spurs will look a bit better this season under Thomas Frank. On set pieces for Brighton, penalties Welbeck, O'Reilly, free kicks Welbeck, O'Reilly again, and corners taken by O'Reilly and Gruda. The most selected asset at the moment is the Kuiper, new signing 4.5, selected by 10% of the managers. Welbeck is next in line, priced at 6.5, selected by 9% of the managers, while Verbruggen, their goalkeeper, 4.5, selected by 6.5% of the managers. When it comes to the best picks from Brighton, I definitely think that Welbeck is worth a mention, only selected by 9% on penalties. He is kind of their talisman at the moment. We know Joao Pedro, he was on penalties for Brighton, but now that he has gone to Chelsea, Welbeck is next in line. So Welbeck, a really good option. He might actually be in my game week 1 team, to be honest. Next is Verbruggen, 4.5, goalkeeper. Good option. We know that he is a starter and will play most games, and this is the reason why he is above the Kuiper on this list. The Kuiper could of course turn out to be the better option, but at the moment I prefer the safety in going with Verbruggen. I actually have both the Kuiper and Verbruggen in my game week 1 team, so if you're interested, go watch my video about my first draft. The link is in the description down below. So that's it for part 1 out of 4. The next part will be with Burnley, Chelsea, Crystal Palace, Everton and Fulham. Like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next part in the series. Thanks for watching, hopefully enjoy the content. See you next time.